Have you ever had that feeling that something which seemed done and dusted suddenly comes back even stronger? As if a door that was once firmly closed is now slightly ajar, just waiting for the right moment to be opened. That's exactly the vibe behind the scenes at Newcastle United right now. Quiet conversations, watchful eyes from the board, and subtle movements backstage are all pointing to the Magpies revisiting an old desire, one of those names that was once firmly on the club's radar but narrowly slipped away. Now, with the new season right around the corner, this story could be heading for a surprising new chapter. And if you're someone who follows everything happening with Newcastle, this is the perfect moment to hit that subscribe button here on the channel. In every video we bring you hot behind-the-scenes updates, in-depth analysis, and everything you, a true fan, want to know. So go ahead and click that button below. It's quick, it's free, and it helps this channel grow so we can keep bringing you exclusive content in the clear and exciting way you've come to expect. Now back to the main point. That feeling of déjà vu in the transfer market is no coincidence. Anyone paying attention to Newcastle's recent moves will have noticed familiar names re-emerging in the headlines. It's as though the club is reviewing past decisions, rethinking strategies, and, above all, approaching its next steps with sharper focus. And among these quiet twists and turns, one figure in particular is starting to stand out again. Someone who was incredibly close to pulling on the black and white shirt before an unexpected twist changed everything. Strangely enough, this player even had one foot inside St. James Park. Medical tests were done. The fans were excited, but in the final stages, he took a different path. One of those transfer stories that leaves fans wondering what might have been. Time passed. The player developed, moved clubs, impressed in the Premier League, and now, it seems fate is offering him a second chance. And all signs suggest Newcastle are ready to grab it with both hands. That's right, Toon Army. According to Sky Sports, Newcastle United are once again showing strong interest in signing 23-year-old Brazilian striker João Pedro, currently at Brighton. Yes, the same João Pedro who was on the verge of joining Newcastle in 2023, before a last-minute change saw him head to the Seagulls instead. Back then, the deal had progressed to medical tests, but ultimately fell through. Newcastle then turned their attention to Alexander Isak, a move that proved to be a huge success. But now, the Magpies have turned their focus back to the Brazilian in a renewed effort to strengthen their attack. And if you're new here or still haven't subscribed, now is the perfect time to join our growing community. By subscribing, you'll get all the latest updates on rumors, signings, and behind-the-scenes developments involving Newcastle United. And of course, your support helps keep this project alive, made for fans, by fans, with passion and commitment. The club's intention with João Pedro is clear, to bring in a high-caliber replacement for Callum Wilson, who looks set to leave this summer. And no, the Brazilian isn't coming in to compete with Isak, but to complement the attacking line, offering more depth, options, and quality in the final third. João Pedro netted 10 Premier League goals in 27 matches for Brighton, although he missed the final games of the season due to a red card suspension. Even so, he remains one of the most highly valued players under Fabian Hürzeler's management. Of course, bringing João Pedro to Tyneside won't be straightforward. Brighton know exactly how much he's worth and won't let him go easily. Hürzeler is reportedly keen to keep his Brazilian forward, which could complicate negotiations. But as we all know in football, anything can happen with the right offer, the right project, and the right amount of ambition. And if there's one thing Newcastle have shown in recent seasons, it's ambition. That's when we start to imagine what a João Pedro-Isak partnership could look like. Two young, technically gifted forwards, smart in their movement, and dangerous in front of goal. It's the kind of combination that makes any manager smile, and one that would surely give opposition defenders nightmares. Thinking back on how close João Pedro came to joining before might sting a little, but imagining him joining now, just as the club looks to cement its place among the Premier League and European elite, is genuinely exciting. By the way, if you're enjoying this type of deep analysis, make sure to give the video a like, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you like to see João Pedro at Newcastle? Do you think he'd form a solid partnership with Isak? Your opinion is vital to help us understand how the Toon fanbase is feeling during this potentially huge turning point. Back to the current scenario, Brighton haven't clearly indicated they're willing to sell João Pedro, but behind closed doors, there are suggestions they could consider a solid offer, especially if the player expresses a desire to join Newcastle. The relationship between both clubs is respectful, but a transfer of this size always involves serious negotiations, add-ons, clauses, and that classic patience game. It's also worth remembering that João Pedro arrived at Brighton from Watford for a significant fee and has since increased his value in the Premier League. His playing style fits well with what Eddie Howe typically demands: mobility, tactical intelligence, strong game awareness, and, of course, a clinical finish. Plus, his ability to play both as a central striker and a supporting forward gives Howe more flexibility in tactical setups. According to Sky Sports, Newcastle's interest is genuine, and early discussions have already begun behind the scenes. The report supports the notion that the board doesn't want to repeat past mistakes and is determined to act swiftly and strategically to secure reinforcements before pre-season kicks off. Don't forget, with players like Callum Wilson expected to depart, signing a forward has become a top priority for the club. Meanwhile, as talks remain under wraps, the fan base is already reacting online. Some are buzzing at the thought of João Pedro arriving, while others still recall the letdown of 2023. But one thing is certain in football: unfinished stories always have room for unexpected and perhaps happy endings. So here's our invite for you to stick with us and follow every step of this developing transfer story. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and don't miss a single update. We're tracking it all, from the initial rumors to the final decisions that could see another Brazilian talent arrive at St. James Park. And if this video helped you understand the situation and the potential impact João Pedro could bring to Newcastle, share it with fellow fans. Spread the word in the Magpies community and help this analysis reach even more supporters. The transfer market is unpredictable, but with good info and passionate fans, we're in it together. We'll wrap up today's video with one clear takeaway: even when a path seems closed, it can always lead to a brand new destination. And if João Pedro does end up joining Newcastle, we'll be right here to cover every detail, every twist, every milestone of a story that might finally get the ending everyone's been waiting for.